All right, man. Jim Caldwell spoke to Glover Quinn. He got a channel called the DB Room. I'll put the interview link in the description. Go support Glover Quinn. Dope safety, one of my favorite Lions of all time. And Jim Caldwell revealed some things, how Bob Quinn tried to have him fired immediately when he came on in 2016. But let's first talk about how he wasn't the Detroit Lions' first choice when he got hired here in Detroit. So don't forget, check out our Detroit Lions Talk playlist. And don't forget, check out the DB Room by Glover Quinn, doing some great work. And I think we all knew that probably Caldwell wasn't the first choice. It was a huge buzz. What was this? I can't remember what, 13, 12, whatever year it was, that they wanted Ken Whisenhunt. Now, Ken Whisenhunt is no longer coaching in the league. His last job was offensive coordinator for a few years with the Los Angeles Chargers. They was the San Diego Chargers at the time. And I believe he won a Super Bowl as assistant coach. Was he the Super Bowl head coach of the Arizona Cardinals that went to the Super Bowl? I think he was the head coach there. But I wasn't too high on Ken Whisenhunt. You know what I'm saying? I think he has some coaching time with the Titans and stuff of that nature. But he was seen as this offensive guru, and he was another dude that liked to sling the ball around a lot and don't like to commit to the run, and that's was an issue with him. So I wasn't too keen on him. I can't remember, who exactly I wanted to be the coach at the time, but I mean, it was happy to see a person of color and Jim Caldwell get the job. And I thought Jim Caldwell, did a hell of a job here. Okay. Could Ken Whisenhunt come and do a job here? Anything is possible, but I just didn't see what was so good about him. He had some hot streaks with his offense, but even with Jim Caldwell, he didn't come here and fix the main issue. And still, Matt Patricia hasn't fixed the main issue. And the main issue with the Lions is the lack of running game. That's it. Teams that came here and had, coaches came here and had good defenses, borderline great defenses, good special teams, good kick returners, good kickers, good punters, but, had great, passing offense numbers and, you know what I'm saying? But the one thing that lacks here is the running game and scoring touchdowns. Even when Mike Martz was here, they was the field goal unit, Kidner will drive up and down the field and do some great things, and we'll settle for 3 every time or a turnover. And that goes hand in hand. That goes hand in hand with running the ball, not having a high conversion rate in the red zone with touchdowns. And the Lions just have lacked to run the ball. And when Stafford had his best years, when Reggie Bush and Joy Bill was running well, they kind of tapered off the second half of the year. They started fumbling in the Eagles game, and Reggie, I don't know if Reggie got tired and Bill got wore down, but every coach that come in here, they just missed what's really missing. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense, it's the running game. The running game is kind of gonna be the Lions' thing to open up, the door for us to get a playoff win. But I didn't think Whisenhunt was gonna come here and change that. Whisenhunt would have failed like everybody else, and that's my opinion on it. All right. But apparently Jim Caldwell said he thought he turned down the job and he was their number one choice. And, it is what it is. Whisenhunt, went on to do some offensive coordinator things. And, if the job not right, if you don't think the job is doable, you know what I'm saying, he probably would have been out the door too. You know what I'm saying? His assistants would have been totally different from Caldwell's assistants. At least we wouldn't have had Joe Lombardi. But the issue there with him is he probably just see it as a winning situation. And he passed up the opportunity. He failed with the Titans. He failed as an offensive coordinator with the Chargers, and now he on the outside looking in. Now, would he take the Lions job if offered to him today? If he can get back in the league, yeah, I think he would. He would fucking take it, but I don't think he was the right guy for the job. But as far as Caldwell, he just didn't. He made Stafford into a game manager. If you remember when he got the job, he said, he really impressed Martha and everybody else. Mayhew Lewan with his interview, and he basically went over tape with Matthew Stafford and showing where he can really, cut the turnovers down. And he made him into a game manager. It was more high percentage throws, but the one thing Caldwell just didn't do was he didn't fix the run game. You know what I'm saying? And if every coach come in here and they just forget about the run game, they just think the Lions can do it without it, and then you can't. He did a great job putting Terrell Austin in the position to be the defensive coordinator, and Terrell Austin made the most out of whatever he had, and he had a really good defense. You know what I'm saying? They had good defense, good special teams. They just lacked the offense, and Lombardi just came here and choked. You know what I'm saying? They hired Jim Bob Cooter and choked, and obviously that was the demise of Jim Caldwell, his coordinators, offensively wise. He didn't want to step in and call the plays. Remember, he called the plays for, the Baltimore Ravens down the stretch when they got hot. After they fired Cam Cameron, he got fired and went over to LSU. They hired Caldwell in Baltimore, and he was the one that took Joe Flacco on that nice Boing Voyage, to the Super Bowl. And he only threw 13 touchdowns and 1 interception in that run. And Caldwell was his opportunity, that helped him get the Lions job. Helping Flacco have a hot start, and he just didn't want to call the plays, and maybe it's too much scheduling, meetings and game management and breaking down film, but he didn't want to save his job and call the plays, and ultimately, that's why he was fired, because he didn't want to call the plays and step in. But the Lions just, when a coach come in and figure out the number one priority is to run the ball, I think at that point the Lions will turn it around. Now, he said in 2016 that Bob Quinn, when he came in, wanted to fire him immediately and bring in his own guy. So it sounded like Martha was like, no, we're going to keep him, this, that, and the third. And ultimately, that's what it boiled down to. When you come into an organization, you want to put everything in place, no matter if Caldwell was a winner or not. And he ended up winning, and then they extended him with that 1-year extension. And then they had that 7-9 season, and then they ended up letting him go. But obviously, Bob Quinn just wanted to have all his people in place. It wasn't nothing personal. They fired the capologist that got the cap together a couple years ago. They brought in Patricia and then, fired Caldwell, and it's been downhill. So obviously, he had a good thing going. All he had to do is make minor modifications, to the organization with Jim Caldwell, but he didn't want to do that. And Matt Patricia was a totally different culture change for these players. Jim Caldwell was a players coach. Matt Patricia was a coach that players hated. I mean, even before he took the job with Detroit, he was in contention for the Giants job, and Landon Collins was like, I want to play for this dude. So it was complaints about him before he even chose the job. He said, I want to play with that Patriot system shit. And, shit, that's what it was. So it wasn't just Lion players complaining about him. It was some Giants players complaining potentially about him coming there and also coaching. So it just ain't really worked. I think it was too much of a culture change for a lot of those guys. And ultimately, they say in the NBA, if the player's complaining, about the coach, and usually the owner going to fire the coach and bring in another coach and keep the superstar players. In this situation, Bob Quinn backed his buddy and started turning over the whole roster. No matter, he turning over talent that's Pro Bowl talent and not replenishing it with Pro Bowl talent. Just what it is, They're getting rid of all these players, and then, they don't replace them with Pro Bowlers, It's yet to see if Okuda going to be a Pro Bowler, get rid of Darius Slay. I think Quadre Diggs is a Pro Bowl caliber player, and they're getting rid of him. Either Harmon or Harris going to play in there. So my whole thing about the situation is, they overturning talent, but he not replenishing the talent with talent, and ultimately that's going to be his undoing. People expect him to get fired this year if they don't do well, but Sheila's already said that, she going to ride with him. Because this year asterisk with the COVID, so they probably going to have another year here to do what they do. It'll make me no difference, because the Lions are not going to replace them with the right guy. And the right guy going to come in here and look and say, you know what? We got to secure Matthew Stafford blindside. We got to run the ball better, and then everything else will fall in place. All right? But, sorry to restart, but, at the end of the day, it is what it is. And, for, Patricia, we want him to win. All right? I want to just see the Lions win, but it just don't seem that he that smart. He want to bring in his own guys, and he don't believe in making adjustments and guys that don't fit his system, or that's not from his system. Excuse me. He tries to plug them into a system that doesn't fit. Richard Sherman, Bradbury, it was another corner he tried to bring in. I think it was those only two, and they are zone corners, and they can't do what Darius Slay do, is cover man all day. He just doesn't really evaluate his players the right way. And also, Jim Caldwell also took a shot at him saying that he wants to bring his own players in, and he don't do that. He make the adjustment with the players at hand, but, he want to bring his own players in Patricia, because, he has, it sounds like he has a hard time socializing and articulating the system. You hear, Damon Snacks Harrison talk about, he was trying to teach us how to take on blocks. How to take on blocks and stuff to run, and it was a disconnect. He couldn't teach it to us. Nobody was picking up on it, and that's why we, couldn't stop the run last year, long story short. And that's why he come in and bring in Danny Sheldon and all these people who understand the lingo. All right? That's a problem. When you can't build your own culture and you can't connect with players that's not from the Patriot system, that's just saying you still need Bill Belichick. You know what I'm saying? That's what it screamed to me. You still need Bill Belichick. You know what I'm saying? Because why can't you take Snacks, or why can't you take, Jared Davis, or why can't you take, I don't know who else on the team, off rip, or I'm trying to think of some guys that was there in the past. Why can't you take guys that's not from the Patriot system and just teach them the system? Why can't they buy in? You got to just get Bill Belichick players who understand the system, and it's little maintenance involved. They just know the system, and they know how they want to attack it. And also, he banking on those guys teaching, them teaching the other lines the system, and because he don't know how to teach, he don't know how to coach without Bill Belichick. That's what it is. He can't create his own. You know what I'm saying? He can't create his own system, or he can't articulate it. He can't teach it. He can't coach it. And that's the disconnect. And I think he has some social issues as well, too. So that's why he's bringing all these Patriot players in. But Caldwell, right. You know what I'm saying? If you a real good coach, you should be able to teach it to any football player. You know what I'm saying? The majority of them. But he don't know what a system fit is. And that's why he's plucking off the Patriot tree, because he knows it's a for sure thing that them players going to fit his system. And, he just can't teach football. You know what I'm saying? He trying to make it seem like the Lions players don't want to buy in, but you know what I'm saying? When your system not working, it ain't working. But, it is what it is. So it was interesting, man. I think Caldwell deserved to get some shit off his chest. I'm glad that Glover Quinn did the interview. But, we still miss Jim Caldwell. He was a solid dude. He didn't do all that screaming. People got mad. Oh, he doesn't scream. He doesn't get emotional. They said the same thing about Stafford. He doesn't get fiery. What does that mean? Some of the most dangerous men throughout history were ones that don't show emotion, who don't talk a lot. Usually, your serial killer, when I say serial killers, but your hitmen and your killers, they are the ones that's quiet. They ain't talking a lot. They ain't doing hoobie. They just pop or shh. They just, get the job done. You know what I'm saying? And just because he didn't show a lot of emotion, those players still respected him more than they respect Matt Patricia. So it's a respect thing. But hey, let me know what you guys think about the video. Don't forget, I'm going to link the DB Room interview with Glover Quinn and Jim Caldwell in the description on the source link. Don't forget you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can reach out if you got a business question, inquiry, sponsorship, video requests. Keep sharing the videos. Appreciate the love, support. Best way to donate to the channel is to share the video with my Cash App. CJ Good 313 is in the description. Also, my PayPal link there as well, too. But my best way to donate is to subscribe and share the video one time for the one time. It's your boy CJ Goodfellow, Mercy Sports Talk. We go.